There's one thing I want you to understand about flirting with women, right? And that's a very, very clear concept. And it's one that you have to understand now, today, as early as possible, okay? Or else the rabbit holes, the directions, the pathways that you'll take yourself and go down, honestly, bro, it's for the worst, okay? You must understand that everyone's game is different. Everyone's way of flirting and their techniques, it's different. It's reliant on you, okay? Now you can sort of upgrade yourself and change yourself, in ways to suit different techniques. You can do that. But let's just take a step back and think about where we are right now, okay? What might work for you might not work for me. And what might not work for me won't always work for you. That's why a lot of people out here that want to sort of talk about how, oh, this is what you need. This is the number one thing to help you attract 200 women out there. As many women as, like, it's kind of like, I can't fully trust 100% what you're saying to me, bro, because me and you are like light and dark, not literally. But you know what I'm trying to say? What might work for you might not work for me. You need to understand this, okay? A lot of the people teaching you game or, what to say to these women, they know this themselves and they're not telling you. Maybe because you're putting money in their pocket or for whatever other reason. I'm real over here. I'm not going to do that, okay? I'm actually going to tell you what you need to know and help you in ways that make sense, okay? So stay tuned. My name is Michael Knight and I make content within the self-improvement fitness niche. So if you're interested within them realms, you'll find yourself at home here. Okay. Now, one thing I used to do when I was younger, okay, I would used to watch so many different creators and on YouTube, okay, regarding female attraction and, how to talk to them, how to flirt with them and this and that, right? How I was so young at one point, like I used to watch streamers and stuff, right? And like Duke Dennis and Kai Cenat, those guys like that. Like, by the way, I'm from the UK. Okay, so already the kind of women that they're talking to is going to be different. That's not even about, remember how I spoke about what might work for you might not work for me? That didn't even have anything to do with this. Okay, that was based on the women. Can you imagine? So whatever game I was learning from them, it's not that I wouldn't be able to do it. It wouldn't work because of who I would be using it on. You understand what I'm trying to say? So you have to understand that. But obviously I was young back then and I didn't really know better. I didn't really understand things. Okay. So with that being said, the best thing I can tell you, okay, is you want to find your reference points. Okay, it is a good idea. Like I have mentioned in previous videos, previous shorts, Instagram reels, I have stressed the importance of finding content creators that you like, that are even relatable to you, okay? And so look at the way they do things. This gives you more references to choose from, You can take something from someone else and use it in your own game, okay? You can improvise. This is essentially how I developed so many different techniques, so many different ideas. I didn't come up with everything that I do today from all of my own, from my own brain. It didn't come from that, I took it from other places and I adapted it to myself to make it work. You know what I'm trying to say? Now, the difference between doing that though and where you might be is you might have all these different sources, all these different people who are a little bit like you, who, you might have all those there in your head even, which is even better, right? Because I know some people like to refer to a certain video. Oh, let me watch this video before I go and cold approach. Let me go and do this right before I talk to this girl, Come on, bro. And then some people already have it in their mind, but they're too scared to do it. That leads me on to my point. If you're too afraid to actually go out there and gain experience, you're not going to learn anything. You're not gonna, in fact, well, you're gonna learn things, but you're not gonna have applied them. So you're not going to gain wisdom. You're not going to gain experience. You have to go out there, get in that water, get your feet dirty, and gain experience. That's the truth. This is why self-improvement is just perfect for anybody out there, you know, especially people who want to improve their skill in terms of attraction, okay? Because all you're doing is you're improving and upgrading your own life, things you already have, you know. And when you take it to the dating marketplace, one beautiful thing you'll start to realize with all these women is that they'll appreciate when you are yourself, one, and they'll appreciate it when you're unique. Because there's so many guys out here who are trying to be just like the next guy. You know, they're trying to replicate something they've seen online. You know, and it's not genuine. It's not a genuine connection because this isn't who they are. They can see through it, by the way. I've literally spoken about this in the other video. I'm going to link it above. So when you gain this unyielding sense of self-identity and you know who you are, like the jokes you make, the laughter, you know, the direction you want to take the date, it's genuine, it's real, and they can feel that. You know, it makes it easier for you to emotionally sort of stimulate them, you know, because that's what they need, that's what they like, that's what they want, you know. Because guys out here that are just sort of wandering around, no real direction, they do struggle with speaking to women. They struggle with attracting them, just like the rest of everyone else. Difference with them is, though, they know. And another important thing you must understand is, like, if you think to yourself, imagine if everybody was the same and everyone had the same game and everything like that, you'd be way too predictable. You know, you'd be way too predictable. Like, girls would just see through your every action. They would know what to expect next, you know, and you would bore them. You would eventually bore them. See, when you keep women on their feet like that, you know what it does? You make sure that they are thinking of you, okay? Let's just say you've been on a date and you've used everything I've said, okay? And everything was smooth, everything was clean. You've come back home, you know, and instead of going and texting her, oh, this and that, like, oh, you know, you just have your night routine, your cool down, and you go to sleep, right? One thing you realize is, and it's either she's messaged you already, either the night before or in the morning. Yeah, either the night before or in the morning, right? She's messaged you, or if not, she was thinking about you. She'll be texting her friends, okay? She'll be thinking to herself, I can't stop thinking about this guy because like he just had such an energy about him, and he was just, you know, and he did that thing, and it's like no one had done that before, and it was like, you know, this is the way she'll think about you, and this is great for you, you know. It shows that you've basically done your bit, you've done your part, you've done your job, you know, and you can sit back and re-enter, you know, who you are, your frame. You don't need to fight so much. You don't need to go forward so much anymore. You can allow everything to come to you. You understand where I'm coming from? So that's the beautiful thing about it. This was a bit more of a quick video. I enjoyed making it, and stay tuned for the future videos as well. Make sure you subscribe, you like the video, leave a comment as well. I love comments, you know. If you want to hate as well, please, you know. Yeah, look at that smile. You know, if you want to hate, please hate, you know. I know. Yeah, but anyway, I'm gonna see you guys later, man.